that 0 second comment with the narrative just a couple weeks ago that I deleted the comment blocking. Liar, liar. Fred's pants are on fire. So no wonder he had to wear fucking Laura's pants and shirt. Oh, bitch.
Tell me sweet little lies. Tell me lies. Tell me lies. Oh no, no, you can't disguise.
So yeah, basically, somebody planted meth making items on Fred's property, and it wasn't mentioned because they were. It's whoever would mention it is, if they knew about it, then obviously that's kind of like we were talking about Cotton Simpson. Why Fred was questioned on that and why they gave him polygraph on that was because he knew information that wasn't released to the public, um, that he had got off a certain person, which he had told law enforcement, obviously, when they asked where he got it from. But he had known about, can I say? Am I allowed to say? Like, he had known about a gash in the back of Cotton's head that nobody knew about, and it wasn't released. So basically, if you knew that, you were probably, basically, whoever knew that would. The suspect at that point, Yeah, but the person, yeah, that told Fred that the information came from is like their number one suspect.
Let's not forget why we're here. For these missing kids. In my case, I cover Summer Wells. We've got a couple of characters that, for whatever reason, think a whole lot of shit is funny. I don't understand it. So we've got this backpack story coming out. Again, let me say again, this is not the first that we've heard of the backpack. And actually, Ziggy will remind Fred that he spoke to her about it before. Well, it's been out there. Other channels covered it. There's even a story of Candace Summers' mom maybe possibly taking the backpack full of drugs to Fred's. There's been stories of a girl's clothing in that backpack. This is nothing new. What I don't understand is, if Fred is not guilty of anything, why is he pointing fingers at Cotton's sister? He is telling you guys that someone is responsible for Cotton's death. The only suspect in Cotton's case that I have seen so far is on Fred Hill's polygraph. Fred was the suspect. Cotton was the victim. That poly came out with no opinion. You look at that however you want. On another note, Fred furthers his finger pointing to Betty Simpson's HHR. She has a blue one. He sent a picture to Ziggy of a blue HHR, and he told her either she got a new one or it was white and now it's blue. Now, where the HHR comes into play, Fred has stated that a white HHR was sitting at the end of Ben Hill on Beach Creek. Yet he didn't drive by it. He didn't know who was in it. I don't believe that, because Fred knows all. I think he would have probably drove by purposely to see who was in that vehicle. So now Fred has gave his theory, and that also includes the HHR. He says that he thinks Andy Jr. got Summer from Don's house, and then Fred claims Andy Bernard came in, took Summer from Andy Jr., took her down the road and passed Fred while he was hooking up cars down to this mysterious truck that Fred says the cameras did not catch the tags. In the beginning, when he spoke to Ziggy, he couldn't remember anything about the truck, yet now it's been caught on his cameras. And so then he said, then the truck took Summer to the white HHR. So do you see how this circle keeps involving situations that involve Fred? When Fred was in jail, he talked to Ellie, and he told them that Cotton Simpson told him where Summer's body was. Cotton Simpson died in February, but Fred had said nothing until he went to jail. He failed his poly. Summer has not been found yet. Fred has also told Ziggy that him and another man was talking to Cotton, and they thought that Cotton was acting suspicious. So they followed him. Cotton was there supposedly wanting to buy a boat off of Fred. So they followed him out of the holler to a cemetery to watch what he did. 1 day prior and the day of Cotton Simpson passing away, he did go to a cemetery. I don't know the truth on how Cotton passed away, but it has been said he fell off a cliff. Now, whether he fell off or he was pushed off is the question in my mind. And I think that's quite possibly why all these other stories are coming out. Why Fred points fingers at the white HHR. It all comes into play. I know it's very hard to understand, really. I'm going to play clips of Fred admitting that he was hauling cars on the 15th. And I beg you to really think about Andy being on that road that day, because Fred's relying on a tape that has a timestamp of 3:47, and Andy was in the holler the previous day talking to his uncle, John. I believe that's when he was there. If he had drove by Fred, with his theory now, Summer would have been in his car. Don't you think that Fred would have seen Summer? And now that we know where he passed him, he had plenty of room to go around. It didn't happen the way Fred is telling you. Fred has forgotten what really happened the 15th.